Hello everyone. I've got a few questions banked up, so I am going to try and address one of them. So the question is around how to deal with guilt from people having expectations on us, maybe family for example, and us experiencing guilt if we feel like we're not meeting other people's expectations, or it might be that you feel like at times we're not meeting our own expectations, or basically anything around guilt, anything to help us with that. So let's see what we can get to help everyone. This question I think is going to be for you, Goenga. Goenga, can you help us with how we can manage or understand guilt and people experiencing guilt in their lives over various things? Anything that you can help us with that would be great. Thank you. Thank you, Alicia, for connecting and asking further questions of me to assist. Guilt. Guilt is an interesting concept. It is a circumstance in which one feels that they ought to be doing one thing, but yet they are doing something else. And there is a schism between what one feels they should be doing, whether that's an expectation placed upon them by themselves or elsewhere, and what they are actually doing in their life. There are many ways that we can try and address this through our body and our thoughts. First thing is that we need to firstly determine what it is that you want to be doing in the world, what it is that you see yourself doing in this world, something that makes you feel whole, that doesn't give you that disconnect that you are experiencing through having such feelings of guilt. Guilt comes up when we perhaps have something that someone else wants of us, but yet we know in our hearts that this is not something that we should be doing in our lives. And so it does take great strength to make sure that you are enjoying your life and doing those things which bring you joy, and removing those feelings of guilt, because ultimately it is up to us when we are in the human body to place an interpretation on a feeling that we experience. Now, it is ultimately up to you to decide whether or not you will in fact interpret a circumstance as allowing yourself to feel guilty. You may have two human beings experiencing very similar journeys, and one may see the situation and feel guilty because perhaps they are not living up to expectations of someone else, or perhaps they are not doing what they feel others want them to do, or how they're being in the world and such things like this. However, another person may be experiencing just the same circumstance, yet they do not interpret this as guilt. They do not create that energetic interpretation that then has that impact upon their energetic field and their energetic aura. So ultimately, you have all of the power when you are in the human form to determine and interpret circumstances to your own benefit. You are in control. You are the commander. You are the person that is running your own computer system. So ultimately, it is up to you to decide how you interpret certain events, and to decide to interpret events in such a way that will actually assist you to have more energy rather than to take energy from yourself. Why interpret something that will create issues for yourself in your energetic field. And I know I say that as though it's something that's easy to do, but I know when you're in the human body, it feels very difficult at times to do this, and you can feel guilty of this or guilty of that. But the more that you understand that you are the commander, you are the person in charge of your human existence, then you will not allow such interpretations to take place, because it will not be of assistance to you. So what you need to do is become better at becoming more aware of your thoughts, of the interpretations that you place on such things and such events in your life, and to interpret them in a way that is more helpful for you. For example, if you were to have an experience where you felt some guilt and guilt were to arise, then you notice that guilt and you see that guilt and you watch that guilt and you say to yourself, there goes that guilt again. There comes that story up playing in my mind of this guilt story. But I now acknowledge and see what this is. I become aware of this story, and I choose not to accept this story. I choose not to take on this energy, choose not to have this interpretation of this circumstance. So I will now recreate the story which I want to tell myself, and energetically which I want to take on for myself will benefit for me rather than to do the opposite. I hope that it has been of value to you. I must go now. Thank you. Oh, I've ended up over here. Thank you. I hope you heard all of that, even though if I was like talking, I was talking to my drying cabinet. Why do we call them a drying cabinet? I don't know. I'm talking to my dryer. I'm like hidden in my laundry, doing this video. Well, that was interesting, and it all made sense that we can place interpretations on situations to benefit us. So I hope that is helpful for you all. And I just, as always, send you out with much love from Alicia. Bye.